Hi, I'm Leon Furze, and I am a PhD student and an educational consultant. And I used to work in secondary education for 15 years up until the end of last year. And I started my PhD in artificial intelligence and education at the end of November last year over here in Australia, just 2 weeks before ChatGPT launched, which is perfect timing because ChatGPT has really raised awareness across the board and brought artificial intelligence into the mainstream. One of the problems with ChatGPT and other artificial intelligence technologies, though, is that there are some serious ethical concerns, both in the technologies like large language models, such as ChatGPT, but also in the industry as a whole. Because of the complexity of the AI ethical issues, I like to break it down into 3 levels: beginner, intermediate, and advanced level ethics. And I do this because of access to information, because of how easy or difficult the concepts are to understand, and also because I know that educators will be wanting to go into their classes armed with ways to talk to students about AI ethics. So at the beginner level, we have concepts like bias and discrimination, the environmental concerns, and truth. Bias and discrimination refers to the ways that large language models like GPT can discriminate against minorities or discriminate against genders or discriminate against people from diverse backgrounds because of flaws in the data set. So because these text models are trained on huge volumes of text from the internet, they can actually produce quite biased and discriminatory language. A lot of what's on the internet isn't really great quality, and a lot of it is discriminatory, racist, and sexist, and that makes its way into the models, and then the models output that. We've seen this in famous cases like Microsoft's chatbot on Twitter, which spouted lots of racist propaganda, and things like the training for OpenAI's ChatGPT, which has been problematic since day one, and which can still be hacked or worked around to get it to produce discriminating output. There are also some issues with discrimination in technologies like predictive policing and facial recognition, which I'll talk about later when I get to the advanced section. At the beginner level, we also have environmental concerns. Training a large language model consumes an enormous amount of energy, anywhere up to around 1,000 times the consumption of a single US household in a month. The environmental concerns also extend to things like lithium mining for the technologies such as the batteries which power these devices, and the energy consumption of the data centers themselves. There's a huge environmental impact behind AI. Finally, in the beginners section, we have truth. Now, for me, truth means the integrity of the output, so the way that ChatGPT and other models can produce misleading or false output, and also conversations around academic integrity, including cheating and plagiarism, which many people in education are concerned about. At the intermediate level of AI ethics, we have copyright concerns. Particularly with image generation, we've seen this in the media, and we've seen lots of concerns around artists' work being appropriated without their permission. We also have privacy issues. So AI takes all of this text and data from the internet and can include private and identifying individual data in that data set without the individual's permission. And finally, in the intermediate section, we have concerns around datafication. Datafication means turning all of the points of your life into data that can be consumed and used by these machine learning or AI models. So for example, when you wear an Apple Watch and you're doing your fitness tracking, all of that information about you, including your heart rate, including your calorie consumption or calorie burn, is collected and then put into an AI somewhere along the lines. When we use Netflix, Spotify, and these kinds of subscription services, the same thing happens to power their recommender algorithms, which are AI engines themselves. Finally, at the advanced level of AI ethics, we have 3 concepts: power, human labor, and emotion recognition. In its simplest terms, the ethical issue of power refers to the way that AI language models can bake in certain power constructs that exist in our society. So this is similar to bias and discrimination. Essentially, it means that the language models can reinforce power structures. We call them hegemonies, and those power structures might reflect some negative or damaging aspects of our society. There's also a great human labor cost behind artificial intelligence. Kate Crawford, in her book Atlas of AI from 2021, does a great job of articulating these issues. But there have also been recent cases in Time magazine and in other articles online about companies like OpenAI and Google outsourcing the labeling of data, minimum wage human work required to label the data, particularly looking for offensive or harmful media. So there is a great human cost behind these. And finally, affect and facial recognition, which is the recognition technologies behind emotion recognition, facial recognition like built into your camera on your iPhone, but also facial recognition in surveillance technologies, and even monitoring students in classrooms to tell if they are switched on, looking for the work, engaged in the classroom. I think there are some technologies that we will benefit from in education and some which we probably want to keep out of our classrooms until we have more of a handle on these ethical concerns. And that starts by educating the teachers, the academics, and the educators around the whole system of AI ethics. Check out my blog post, which is linked on this page, if you want some more information on these AI ethics. And I look forward to working with some of you in the future.